Chapter 11 looks at behavioral and cognitive behavioral approaches to family therapy. So some of the objectives are discussing behavioral family therapy, including functional family therapy and cognitive behavioral family therapy, exploring the major theorists, premises, techniques, roles of the therapist, processes, and outcomes of behavioral family therapy and cognitive behavioral family therapy, describing the uniqueness of behavioral family therapy and cognitive behavioral family therapy approaches, including their use in parent training and the treatment of sexual dysfunctions. These are very common approaches to therapy, but both for individuals and for families. Behavioral family therapy is a fairly recent treatment methodology. Its origins in research on modification of children's actions by parents. Treatment procedures are based on social learning theory. Functional family therapy is a type of behavioral family therapy that is basically systemic. Cognitive behavioral family therapy uses cognitive behavioral techniques, and they're converted to a family context. Some of the major theorists include John B. Watson, Mary Cupper Jones, Ivan Pavlov, B.F. Skinner, who was the first to use the term behavioral therapy and is the originator and proponent of operant conditioning. Gerald Patterson was credited with being the primary theorist who began the practice of applying behavioral therapy to family problems. He was instrumental in writing programmed workbooks for parents to employ in helping their children. He played a critical role in the extension of learning principles and techniques to family and marital problems, and he's influenced other behaviorists to work from a systemic perspective in dealing with families. Neil Jacobson found that 20% of male batterers have lower heart rates during times of physical assault. He found that acceptance or loving one's partner as a complete person and not focusing on differences may lead to an ability to overcome fights that continually focus on the same topic. And he challenged marriage and family therapy practitioners to be more innovative and reflective in their work. The premises of the theory. It's based on the theoretical foundations of behavioral therapy, particularly operant and classical conditioning. Maladaptive behaviors and not underlying causes should be the targets of change. Not everyone in the family has to be treated for change to occur. Emphasizes the major techniques of behavioral theory, such as stimulus, reinforcement, shaping, and modeling. Many behavioral therapists also emphasize cognitive aspects of treatment, especially more modern behavioral therapists. Behavioral parent training looks at 4 styles of parenting that have been identified. These are based on Baumrein's specific parenting styles, but authoritative parenting, authoritarian parenting, permissive parenting, and neglectful parenting. These are based specifically on parental warmth or flexibility and structure, parental structure. So authoritative parenting is considered the most effective or healthy style of parenting because it includes both the flexibility, warmth, and structure. Whereas authoritarian parenting has a great deal of structure, but no warmth and flexibility. Permissive parenting has a great deal of warmth and flexibility, but little to no structure. And then neglectful parenting really has neither. It's almost like an absentee parenting. So one of the main tasks is to define a specific problem behavior. Parents are trained in social learning theory. Behavioral approaches with parents are known as parent skills training and parent therapies. And one example is parent-child interaction therapy. Functional family therapy. It's a family-based, empirically supported treatment for behavioral problems, especially with adolescents. It's based on the idea that all behaviors are adaptive and serve a function. Behaviors represent an effort by the family to meet needs in personal and interpersonal relationships. Relationships help family members achieve one of 3 interpersonal states. Contact or closeness, considered merging. Distance and independence, considered separating, or a combination of both of these states, which is called midpointing. The 3-stage process of functional family therapy includes assessment, which is the focus on the function that the behavioral sequences serve. Change, which the purpose is to help the family become more functional. And maintenance, the focus is on educating the family and training them in skills that will be useful in dealing with future difficulties. Behavioral treatment of sexual dysfunctions. Masters and Johnson pioneered the cognitive behavior approach to working with couples in the late 1960s with the publication of Human Sexual Response. You may have seen there are some more recent TV shows developed based on this. They looked at 4 phases of sexual responsiveness: excitement, plateau, orgasm, and resolution. A clinically relevant model for sexuality counseling, PLICIT, or P, permission to talk about sexuality and sexual issues. The LI is looking at limited information about the prevalence and etiology or beginning of problems. SS is looking at specific suggestions, and then IT is the intensive therapy. Commonalities of behavioral approaches to sex therapy: reduction of performance anxiety, sex education, skill training in communications and negotiation strategies, attitude change methodologies, and overall behavior-oriented therapy for sexual dysfunctions has been found to produce excellent outcomes. Cognitive behavioral family therapy. There's a heavy emphasis placed on modifying personal or collective core beliefs or schemas, important to help change stable, entrenched, and long-standing beliefs that family members have about family life. It's also useful in teaching families to think for themselves and think differently when it is helpful. Likewise, behavioral components of cognitive behavioral family therapy focus on the following actions: excess negative interaction and deficits in pleasing behaviors exchanged by family members, expressive and listening skills used in communication, problem-solving skills, negotiation, and behavior change skills. General treatment techniques include education, communication and problem-solving strategies, operant conditioning, and contracting. Specific treatment techniques may employ the use of classical conditioning, coaching, contingency contracting, extinction, positive reinforcement, quid pro quo, reciprocity, shaping, systematic desensitization, timeout, job card grounding, charting, Premack principle, disputing irrational thoughts, thought stopping, self-instructional training, modeling, and role-playing. The role of the therapist is as an expert teacher, collaborator, and coach. Therapists help families to set up behavioral and cognitive behavioral management programs. Behavioral and CBT family therapists must learn to play many roles and to be flexible. CBT family therapists concentrate on modifying or changing family members' cognitions as well as their interactions. The process and outcome. If successful, family members learn to modify, change, or increase certain behaviors to function better. Family members learn how to eliminate or decrease maladaptive or undesirable behaviors and or dysfunctional thoughts. Focuses on increasing parenting skills, facilitating positive family interactions, and improving sexual behaviors. CBFT helps families deal with stress, addiction, and adult sexual dysfunctions, among many other challenges that families may face. Unique aspects of these approaches, the theories behind the approaches, the research. There is a wealth of research about behavioral and cognitive behavioral strategies, oftentimes applied to the individual, but some of these now have been extended to family approaches. The continued evolution or development of these approaches, their short-term treatment, so they oftentimes bring about solutions or change very quickly, and their rejection of the medical model of abnormal behavior and of looking too hard at the past, looking more at present behaviors, especially observable things that are at play in the family in the present moment. So once again, these are some of the most widely used types of approaches with individuals and have been applied successfully in family settings. As with other approaches, if you find interest in this or connect to it at all, there's much more information available in the resources that are supplemental and also in the textbook.